Alrighty, back here with Restore Balance once again. We are on the play. So let's see. Oh, this hand's not bad. I mean, that would be nice if that was an untapped land, but we can make do. We have a bunch of border posts to play. Only thing we're really missing is a Cascade spell. So I think we're going to be on the Suspend, Gargadon, and Nihilith plan, and then hope to hit a Cascade spell. So we'll start with Evolving Wilds. The nice thing about these tap lands is, yes, we don't get to play a border post on turn 1, but we get to play 2 on turn 2, so it kind of equals itself out anyway. Marsh Flats. So we'll sack this. Let's see, we have blue-white. So we don't have green, so I guess we could get a forest. That's probably the safest play. So yeah, I think we'll sack our Evolving Wilds for a forest. Then plan on playing. Nice. So we're going to play 2 border posts. We'll start with Vein Fire. And we will follow that up with a second Vein Fire. Because I think what we want to do is next turn we can suspend both Nihilith and Gargadon, and then the following turn we should be able to Demonic Dread for some pretty insane value. At least that's the plan at the moment. Could change, but seems pretty nutty. The other thing that could happen is he could Thoughtseize us, taking like our Demonic Dread, and then that whole plan kind of goes down the tubes. So it looks like we are up against another junk player, most likely. Abzan, for you kids out there. Yeah, so I think we will... Yeah, we're going to suspend Gargadon. Yeah, I'm tapping awkwardly, but that's okay. Suspend Gargadon. Suspend Nihilith. Next turn, we can play Border Post. Replay our land. Cast Demonic Dread. And sack our Forest in response and put him down to 0 lands. And that will also add a bunch of take a bunch of counters off our Nihilith. Not sure if it'll be quite enough. 1, 2, 3. Liliana is perfectly fine. That's actually kind of good for us. We discard our Lingering Souls, so I think our Nihilith is actually going to come down next turn because he's going to sack 3 lands. Discard 3 cards? 2 cards? We'll see, but I think it might be enough. So remove our counters here. Another border post. So we'll just play a Field Mist border post, I believe. Maybe we should... I'm not sure what the right play is. If we play our Field Mist border post, we can't cast Ardent Plea or our other Cascade spell. We'll need Demonic Dread. I can't think of it at the moment. Violent Outburst. So if we cast Field Mist, we can't cast Violent Outburst or Ardent Plea. If we cast Wild Field, we can at least cast a Violent Outburst if we draw it. So I think that might be the right play for now. The problem is, since we're planning on sacking this basic, we actually won't have another basic land to alternatively cast our other border post. So, no. Oh, I forgot. This doesn't actually work. Demonic Dread actually requires a creature in play. So I think instead we just have to flashback our Lingering Souls. If we don't get Thoughtseize, this might actually be better. because we can sack both of our Lingering Souls for Gargadon. That's fine. We'll sack both our Lingering Souls now. He's probably going to make us discard with Liliana. Still can't cast our Demonic Dread, unfortunately. So I guess we'll have to discard that. Another Ardent Plea. So we're going to pick up our forest to play Field Mist Border Post. We're not going to replay the land, and we're going to pass. Now he needs 2 discard spells to keep us from resolving an Ardent Plea into Restore Balance next turn. Breeding Pool. That's an odd choice. So he casts his own Lingering Souls. Perfectly acceptable. So now we get to do it. Remove 1 counter. Remove 2 counters. So we can suspend another Gargadon. Play a forest. Cast Ardent Plea, which will find us our balance. And then in response, we'll sack this forest. So here's our Restore Balance, which we will cast. And he's tapping a couple mana. Oh, you know what? I actually sacked to the wrong Gargadon, unfortunately. So we get our Nihilith back. Yeah, that was a little bit of a punt, because we could have sacked out for our Gargadon, but maybe it's better that we don't, actually. What did he discard? Sun Titan and Island. Or Plains, I believe. Sun Titan and Plains. So now I guess we're just gonna attack his... Okay, I don't even think we want a land. I think we'll just sack. And I think we're just gonna go for it now. We're gonna sack out for this Gargadon. And that means he basically has... Oh, I was going to say he would have a couple of turns to draw land into another path. But he scoops it up there. So I'm not 100% sure what he's playing. I figured he was just junk, but then we saw a Sun Titan and a blue land, a breeding pool. So I'm a little bit confused as to what we're up against. He did have white lands, which means we're bringing in Wisp-Mares again. We can get rid of O-Ring, a couple Spirit Guides, and a Nihilith. And I think we just keep it at that. Didn't really see enough information out of his deck to know exactly what's going on. This hand's acceptable. A little land and Restore Balance heavy, but that's fine. Raven's Crime. Well, I guess we pitch the Restore Balance. So he might be a Gifts Univen deck actually. Inquisition. Going after one of our Cascade spells, Violent Outburst. And more discard? Or just Raven's Crime? Raven's Crime. So now I guess we pitch the Mistfall Plains. So now we can play and sack this Terramorphic, get a Swamp, and then use this Border Post, bounce a Swamp, and we're back on track for Demonic Dread next turn, if need be. Do we want a Demonic Dread here? I think the answer is yes. So we're going to play a Swamp. I keep doing that. I keep forgetting. Demonic Dread it's by far our worst Cascade spell. I just assume that we can always cast it, but this one actually needs a target. Ugh, Eternal Witness into Inquisition. So that's a little annoying. He gets to take our Demonic Dread. The good news is we have a lot more of those to draw. So now here we'll play a Border Post, pick up a land, and I don't even think we're going to replay a land yet. If we draw any of our Cascade spells now, we can get our balance out, which is what we really need. Wispmare, not exciting. We'll pass again. A little worried about Gifts on end step. There's Gifts. If he goes Gifts into Unburial, Rites, and Iona, I think we're dead. I'm a little less worried about Stony Silence now. He just goes with a value Gifts. Well, we don't especially care about Liliana, that's fine. Snapcaster can get back Inquisition, I guess. Abrupt Decay kills one of our Border Posts, which could be problematic. Well, we definitely don't want to give him Gifts, so we're gonna dump Gifts. Because I'm still worried that he could have the combo. And then I guess we dump Snapcaster and just take our beats from Liliana and Abrupt Decay. Abrupt Decay just means we need to start playing lands again. Liliana, sure. Here we'll discard an Evolving Wilds. Oh, he had Elesh in his hand. So is he going to Abrupt Decay or is he going to wait? Looks like he will. He goes after our red source, okay? Another land. Now I think we're actually going to cast our Wispmare as a way to possibly pressure Liliana and block Eternal Witness. So Ardent Plea would be a nice draw. I guess he can Ghost Quarter our land, but that's not exciting. Is he firing up his Tar Pit by the looks? Yep. So he's going to get in there with Tar Pit. And Slaughterpack the Wispmare. Okay. I guess we just pitch the island. Slaughterpack is a risky play, because if we just draw an Ardent Plea, he loses on his upkeep to his Slaughterpack trigger. Instead, we draw a Nihilith. So I guess we play Swamp and suspend Nihilith. One thing we're not drawing is our Cascade spells this game, which is one thing we really want to draw. What does he have now? I think he was thinking about casting a Thoughtseize or Inquisition, but then realized Liliana does the same thing. Yep. So we get a counter off our Nihilith. He hits us for 2 with Eternal Witness, which puts us on a 2-turn clock. There's a Gargadon that we can't cast. Raven's Crime. That seems just worse than using Liliana, because that actually removes 2 counters from our Nihilith instead of 1. But you can't really blame him. Nihilith is not a card you're used to playing against in Modern. If he ultimates Liliana and splits our cards, I think we're just dead. I mean, splits like the lands and the border posts or whatever. I don't think we can win with 2 mana sources, but he didn't do that. So we have a shot to draw our Ardent Plea here. Instead, we draw Violent Outburst. Alright, not winning that one. So back to the board. He doesn't have counters, which is good. He has a lot of discard, which is kind of annoying. But I still think we're just going to run it back like this. Actually, we could get rid of some Wispmares. He might still have Stony Silence, but he went through a lot of cards and we didn't see him. So I think we'll bring back in our Spirit Guides. I guess we can bring back in our O-Ring and just leave 1 Wispmare. Let's see what kind of hand we get here for game 3. Not great. 1 Border Post, 1 Cascader, Nihilith, and a Lingering Souls. I do like Lingering Souls. I will admit that. It's a good card for this matchup. So we start on Terramorphic, and I think we're just going to search out a Plains. There's a chance that just suspending Restore Balance might be the right play. Inquisition. So I'm assuming he takes our Border Post here. Yep. So we'll crack our Terramorphic, search out a Plains. March the Machines, not looking great at the moment. We're going to suspend a Restore Balance, play a Terramorphic, and I think we want to get a Swamp, which will let us suspend our Nihilith, and also let us flash back our Lingering Souls should it hit the graveyard. He's passing. Well, that was a slight punt. I definitely intended to crack Terramorphic at the end of the turn. And we're drawing all Demonic Dreads. Well, now we don't have to worry so much about stacking our Terramorphic, which is nice. There's a border post. So we can pay 1, return our planes, play our planes, and flash back our lingering souls. We're still in rough shape to a Gifts into Iona, and even Elesh Norn would be pretty annoying. I think we can discard 1 Demonic Dread. Oh, is he Shakira Tribe Elder? Is he a Death Cloud deck? This brew is interesting. Another Terramorphic. So here we are going to pressure Liliana. Play a Terramorphic and suspend Nihilith. Does he have the end of turn gifts? Looks like the answer is yes. Just not Iona, please. I can deal with... I think I can deal with the value gifts. Can deal with Elesh Norn to some extent. That's annoying, but... if he searches for Iona, we're pretty much dead. We are 3 turns away on our restore balance here. Loam, Elesh Norn, Unburial Rites. And in his graveyard he has 2 lands so far. I guess we just put Loam and Rites into his yard. Get some counters off our Nihilith. And then he can discard the Elesh Norn and flash it back, but that's actually fine, as long as he doesn't also have a discard spell. If he doesn't have a discard spell, we get to kill the Elesh Norn anyway. We'll remove another counter from our Nihilith. Each discard a card. I'll discard Martian Machines. Nihilith down to 2 counters. Flashes it back, which is fine. Now we sack this for a mountain. There goes Restore Balance. Nihilith. Border Post, I think, is sweet. Well, it's fine. Can pay 1. Return the planes to our hand. Then we can pay black, red. The question is, do we want him to sack more lands or discard more cards? I think we can leave him with 1 extra card in his hand. Black, red, and white. Demonic Dread on Elesh Norn. Cascades into a Restore Balance. He sacks 2 lands, discards 2 cards, sacks Elesh Norn. This does mean he can start loaming back lands. But that is time consuming, and we will have another balance coming down before too long. So there's our Nihilith. get in there and kill the Liliana, I think, is the right move. And let's see, is he going to start dredging his loam? Yep. So he casts loam, plays land. Another border post would be nice. There's a border post. Attack with Nihilith. I don't really mind discarding. Makes me discard 1. Still not sure we need to sack that Terramorphic. So here comes another balance. He sacks 2 lands, discards 2 cards, we lose our Nihilith. Path to Exile, Eternal Witness, okay. Well, now I think we're going to sack this. Get a swamp. Bounce the swamp to our hand. Play a border post. So we could use a March of the Machines. We've used 2 balances so far. The other thing that would be pretty sweet would be just drawing another Cascader and putting him to 0 lands. Well, now we play our swamp, bounce our swamp to our hand for a Vanefire border post. So now I think well, our opponent just disconnected. So sometimes that is a concession. Sometimes that means there's legitimate Moto trouble. So I will keep an eye on this and be back. If our opponent returns, I will definitely show you guys the rest of the match. If he doesn't, then we will take it as a concession and be 3-0 with our 7-ticket Restore Balance deck. So, alright, I will be back in a minute. And there we have it, guys. Our opponent, 10 minutes later, has officially conceded. So we are killing it. 3-0 today with our 7-ticket Restore Balance deck. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check out the deck list on the page. And if you want to build a cheap modern deck that's actually competitive and can be like, we beat a few tier 1 decks. We beat 4-color Gifts, which is like tier 1.5. We beat Junk, which is one of the 2 best decks in the format. We beat a Mardu Burn deck, which maybe Mardu isn't the most traditional burn color, but Burn is another tier 1 deck in the format. So yeah, I mean, for 7 tickets, you can't go wrong.